There is nothing like the e-reference check process online, so we know you will have a few questions. Let's take a few minutes to review how to add your professional and personal references. In addition, you can practice adding references and managing questions without cost or obligation. Just look for the Test the e-reference check process for free logo on our website. Let's review how you can create your e-reference check report in just a few minutes with 3 easy steps. When you click on Create New e-reference check report, you will find a description of both professional and personal references and brief instructions to add a reference to your report. For this demonstration, let's click on Add a professional reference. Adding a professional reference allows you to elaborate about the nature of your occupation and the reference that you will provide. The first step is to click the occupational category down arrow and choose the most appropriate occupation. For this demonstration, we will choose a nurse. You can add additional information about your occupation in the very next field. The next step, enter the name of the professional reference with whom you have worked. Your reference can be a supervisor, coworker, or peer. You can also use a reference that worked at another company with whom you've interacted. Include the name of your reference and a description in the next field that includes a detailed explanation of your working relationship with this reference. This is very important so the recruiter understands your relationship to the reference you are providing. In the next step, enter the reference's email address and choose your relationship to the reference. One of the most important aspects of the process is confirming the identity of the reference you are providing to a potential recruiter. If possible, always use a work email address for your reference. You can add the reference's LinkedIn account information and their business telephone number and other relevant identifying information. If you have a question during this process, click on the red box with the question mark for further explanation. When you finish entering information about your reference, click Save. You can always come back at a later date and add or correct information you previously provided, as long as you haven't checked out. You will be directed to the questions that are created for your reference based on the occupation you chose in the previous step. In this example, standard questions have been created based on the entry of nurse in the occupational category field. This step has several options from which you can choose to manage the questions which will be received by the references you just entered. You can delete any of the standard questions that were developed for this reference. Just click Delete in the row associated with the question you want to delete and click Yes to confirm. The question will be permanently deleted and cannot be recovered. You can also create questions and prompt your reference to respond to specific questions regarding your abilities, work performance, and experience by clicking on Add a question that your reference will respond to. Don't worry about making a mistake. You can always modify or delete any question you create for your reference until you're satisfied with the questionnaire. What would a recruiter want to know about you and your work performance? Enter the question that you want to ask your reference that will highlight your experience. Then, choose how you want your reference to respond. You can choose either a yes or no response, a rating of 1 to 5, or you can allow your reference to provide a narrative response that will allow them to elaborate about the question you have posed. Click Save to continue. In this screenshot, 2 sample questions can be seen that were created to allow the reference to elaborate regarding the applicant's experience as a nurse. You may review the questionnaire that will be sent to your reference so you have an idea of what they will receive in the email when you click Review the questionnaire your reference will receive. You can add and delete questions until you are satisfied with the questionnaire your reference will receive. However, we highly recommend that you keep the total number of questions for each reference 25 or less. The goal is to create a concise report that highlights your qualifications for recruiter review. Once you have completed the entries for the first reference, you can continue to add additional references. You can create one ERC report for each employer where you've worked, or you can include references from all of your past employments in one ERC report to highlight your experience. Now you know how to create your e-reference check report. We look forward to working with you and helping you advance your career.